Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a video for you here today from the Modern King about a man who divorced his wife after she started disrespecting him online. To be honest, it is the only way some of these women are going to learn that you don't disrespect the man that you married.
To all the men who have encouraged my husband over the last 2 years to divorce me and sent him endless DMs of divorce lawyers and words of encouragement through these tough times for him, today was the day he left.
My husband told me that I needed to pack my stuff and get the fuck out the house.
I have been with my husband for almost 20 years, but about 3 years ago, I was strongly considering divorce, and I want to talk to you about why.
Yep, I'm her husband. I'm a pretty lucky guy. I got a lady who cares enough about me that she airs her criticisms out to over 100 million people on the internet.
That is exactly what these women do. They think that it's acceptable behavior to shame their husbands over incredibly petty things, and that kind of crap has legitimate consequences to him, but she cares more about the attention than she does about her actual husband.
How do you feel about her telling the world that she was considering divorcing you?
Yeah, I found out about that one when I watched the video. You know, I think it was very brave of her to talk to the world about my faults and none of her own, rather than just wasting time talking to me about them inside the container of our marriage. Where, quite honestly, I probably just messed things up by having a voice. Yeah, she doesn't like that.
And on paper, I have an amazing husband. He is incredibly supportive, he's kind, he's loyal.
It's interesting she says on paper. She then lists a whole bunch of really good qualities before dismissing them entirely so that she can talk smack about him online for her own selfish desires.
He's a great dad, he's very hands-on, he's an active participant, he's always present. Like, on paper, what else could I ask for?
And it turns out that off paper, she can demand a lot more. Or she likes to call it, ask for a lot more.
Every night, when we cook dinner, you ask me what to make. Every day, when you drop off the kids at daycare, you ask me what they need in their backpacks. I am the project manager of this home and I need you to do more.
Dude, is she being serious?
Yeah, and honestly, I feel really bad for taking advantage of her.
These women disregard every single contribution that men make to the house unless he's doing 100% of his duties and a minimum of 90+% of her duties, then he's a terrible husband who is beyond redemption according to them.
After a full day of work, when I cook dinner, sometimes I would make the mistake of asking her what to cook. Or before I take kids to daycare in the morning, before I go to work, I would ask, what should I pack them? And that puts a lot of burden on her while I'm handling everything. It's really all in the caption of her video. A woman's love language is not having to ask. Brilliant.
Did you know that's actually not one of the love languages? It's childish and unrealistic.
That describes these modern wives perfectly. They are oftentimes childish and unrealistic, and their petty video posts where they bash the men they swore to honor and obey pretty much prove that without any doubt.
No, she decided that we decided she shouldn't have to ask. I should just know. And having to always guess exactly what she wants or she'll divorce me has me in a constant stress response. I feel frantic all the time. Manically always just doing everything I possibly can, hoping it's right. And she tells me that's good for our relationship because it shows I care.
And there was this one morning where I woke up and I went to put something in the trash and it was overflowing. And I went to get my son's water bottle and it was in the dishwasher with all of the other clean dishes.
When modern wives have no real problems in their marriages, they will make problems out of literally nothing and then consider these problems, quote unquote, to be grounds for divorce.
And I felt so disrespected and unseen and unvalued at that point in time. And I remember texting my husband being like, what happened? Like, why didn't you do this?
Yeah, I told her I was running late for work. Big mistake. So today I took a sick day off work just to get ahead of the chores. And I mean, that's okay. I can just go to work when I'm sick. I always feel more relaxed there anyway.
She heavily criticized you in her video, but she neglected to bring up even one point on what she could do to improve in your relationship.
She doesn't feel like she has to contribute anything because she considers herself the quote unquote project manager of the household and family because complaining and shaming count as household contributions apparently.
Yeah, she's never brought one up, so I don't think there's anything there. When she gets home, she gets a UV light out. If she finds anything, I have to start over.
Where is she right now?
Oh, she's at brunch with friends. Then she's going to the spa. The sound of me cleaning and vacuuming is just too much for her. so she has to get out of the house. But after I get the upstairs done, pick up the kids and make dinner, then she'll come home.
Even if a man does all of that for this kind of a wife, she will still find a reason to show him nothing but contempt, and if there's nothing there, she will still get mad and blame it on a non-existent headache.
And I felt so frustrated, and I remember thinking, what's the point? What's the point of doing this with someone else? I might as well just do it alone.
Turns out she was bluffing on that. She got me this bad boy for my birthday. It's pretty good. Well, you know, she had me go pick it up, and I paid for it, but I like it.
Do you think if she did leave you, then she would realize all the things that you actually do?
Oh, no. She told me her life would be easier without me, that I'm lucky she stays.
It is nothing short of insulting how women like this can get away with talking that way to their husbands. At the very least, wives should be supportive in some capacity, and she is incapable of doing even that.
Women are not meant to work 9-to-5s, and here is why. I'm saying that as I am in Tulum, rented out 2 mega mansions for 15 ladies that we have made an incentive trip for.
So the coffee date wasn't enough. Now y'all trying to take women on walking dates?
Okay, and what's wrong with those?
Like, at this point, I'm just convinced that some men do not like women. They don't want to put forth no effort.
Why? Because they don't want to spend a lot of money on a first date when the entire purpose of that first date is to get to know the person and actually find out if one wants to continue in a relationship?
It's common knowledge if a woman is genuinely interested in getting to know you, then she's not going to care if it's a walking date. She's not going to care if it's coffee or whatever. The only women who get insulted by this stuff are the women who are there for entertainment and money.
First was the coffee date. Now y'all don't even want to spend $4. You want to take the girl walking.
And what exactly is one expecting on a first date? A 5-star dinner?
I wouldn't even advise a teenager to accept a walking date. He better take you to the movies or something.
Well, there's nothing wrong with going to the movies. However, I will say that it's probably not the best way to get to know the person that you're on a date with, especially since you're going to probably be sitting in relative silence for a couple of hours. But trying to say that a guy doesn't like a woman because he actually wants to take her on a coffee date or a walking date is absolutely ludicrous. How much a guy likes a woman is not dependent on how much he spends on her.
Modern women pretend to judge a man's interest in her based purely on how much money he's willing to spend, but in reality, that's just to hide how she exclusively judges a man's worth on how much he's willing to spend on her.
Alright, so that's why I don't like meeting girls on social media. I met a girl on social media, and she goes to me, you know, when am I gonna see you? And I go, whenever you want. I mean,
modern women hate that answer because they need to be told where to go, what time, what to wear, and all of that crap because they honestly can't think for themselves a lot of the time. That is why they're all still single and still delusional.
do you want to go for a drive? Do you want to go for a coffee? And she goes to me, excuse me? That's so low effort of you. I go, what? She goes, that's whack. My standards are high. Excuse me, ma'am. And I go to her, what do you want, a 5-star dinner? I don't even know who you are. You don't want to get to know me? So a coffee or a simple drive is not good enough for you.
Normal women do not talk about how they have high standards. They don't complain if a man wants to get a coffee with her. The only ones who do that are women who are out of their minds and who are single until like 40 and they have a bunch of cats.
A lot of these girls, their ego is hyperinflated. They feel like they deserve. I don't even know who these women think they are nowadays. She had the audacity to tell me this. Yeah, you know, yeah, maybe for a 3rd or 4th date, but I expect you to take me somewhere nice for the first time meeting, somewhere in public. What world do we live in?
If you ask a modern woman why a nice dinner is so important for a first date, you're typically going to get some sort of a BS answer that usually includes a word like effort, deserve, or high value in it.
The question is, what is the antidote towards toxic masculinity?
What precisely, since we're going to pursue this, what precisely is toxic masculinity, as opposed to, say, toxic femininity or toxic humanity? What exactly are you asking me about?
I really want to know what would you like, how you would describe toxic masculinity. Because
No, I want you to define what toxic masculinity constitutes.
Toxic masculinity is just a meaningless buzz phrase that's used to describe anything about a man that a modern woman doesn't like, which is pretty much anything and everything that a man does.
Since we're going to define things so carefully, let's do it.
neglects the freedom of the opposite, well, gender or whatsoever. So that's toxic masculinity, and that you kind of have.
But that would also be toxic femininity.
Well, may I like finish my sentence?
Sure.
Well, why do we have to settle for these types of things that you're saying?
Well, first of all, you don't have to settle for anything. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. But what also does not have to happen is men don't have to be counter to their nature to make you happy.
Kevin Samuels always seemed to give modern women the one thing they absolutely hated, and that was the sheer truth of their reality.
And that's okay. So what's the issue?
The issue is that men are not the ones complaining about the state of relationships and dating as much as women are. Women wanted freedom of choice. Women wanted to be able to have sex with who they wanted to, marry who they want to, love who they want to, work where they want to, not work where they want to, go every place that men could go. You are the most free, most liberated group of women that ever existed on the human history, and yet you're the most unhappy. 1 in 4 out of you on some sort of psych meds.
He's absolutely right. Modern women got every single thing that they demanded, and yet they are still miserable, angry, and judgmental, and then they blame us for it, even though it was their own doing.
Women are the marital rate is dropping with modern women. What else do you want men to do? We've civilized the world in general. We don't even have wars. You can do whatever you want to, and you're still not happy with the world that men built, telling us that we're not good enough because we don't move like women. We're not going to.
I do not accept a coffee or a walk as a possible date option, and neither should you. First of all, I'm not a dog that needs to be walked. Second, I have an espresso machine at home, works fabulous. We're not doing drinks either. You're gonna try to get me drunk and take me back home. No, we are doing dinner.
These women go on and on about how they hate men who won't plan dates, but even when they do plan them, they still tell men that they're not trying hard enough.
You're gonna pick me up, we're gonna come to the restaurant, we're gonna see your table manners. We're just gonna, study you a bit.
I started the egg freezing process. I did some preliminary tests which showed that my egg count is really low. The doctors did tell me that might affect my fertility. My eggs are high quality, but there's just not a lot of them. It's just so sad.
These women feel like they deserve to be immune from the consequences of their own actions, as if crying about it is somehow an atonement for their terrible decisions.
Are you married?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Is he happy?
Oh, that's a weird question. Usually they ask if I'm happy.
Yeah, but like, it's a different kind of an interview. I'm just, because he's not here, like, I want to show my care for him as well.
Mm.
Is he happy?
These women get so offended at the notion of a man being happy in his own marriage. You can tell that this thought never once crossed her mind. That's why she's caught so off guard.
Your answer is yes, no. You don't wanna answer that question?
No.
I think it's okay. I think we got the answer.
Who we?
That's me and the camera guy. You got it, bro?
Yeah. And fuck you. And fuck you.
And of course, when all else fails, you can freak out and just hurl insults at men who have made perfectly valid points. She would rather protect her desire to be right than to make her husband happy. It's really sad. But anyway, guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.